Okay, so thank you guys all for coming. We're just going to go through some info for the club for this upcoming year. First, I want to see, is anyone new to surf or hasn't played for surf before? Is anyone here? Okay, good. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay, good to see. This also will be filmed. I'm mic'd up as well, so we're getting it all. So we'll send this to people to kind of see. So if you miss something, feel free to take care of the video. Okay, so we'll get started real quick. So this is about the ECNL RL in NorCal. Is the big exciting news for our club. This is U13 to U19 boys and girls first teams. So we'll get into this slowly as we get into everything. Okay, so this is just a slide. My social media or my graphic design is limited, but this is some of our successes over the last year or so. Some of our players playing in different countries, clubs or kids committing to colleges, just in the club just over the last 12 months. Does anyone have any kids on these slides? No, okay. And we did miss some, so I know there's going to be some parents that are upset that their kid went to England or Ireland playing for the club but isn't on here. But this is just some of ours. We had a girl go to the U.S. Soccer Training Center. We have had people commit to colleges from the club, and then lots of experiences for playing in different states and countries as a part of Surf Select. This is a slide I think I've seen. I think it kind of summarizes where youth soccer is right now. So as you see, this is a soccer tryout registration line, and this is kind of where everyone's following. Everyone's wanting to play for a different patch on the sleeve because they play in this league and they do this. When in reality, it should be more about where they're at, where they're being pushed, where they're being challenged, where they care about the kid. So overall, so I've seen this everywhere. I think it's really relative to kind of where we're at as a society, even though we're going to talk about our playing leagues right after this. So, okay, this is the soccer wars right now. So people new to club soccer or how it is, these are the leagues, most of the leagues that across the country teams are playing in. So if you don't know what these are, that's okay. You're probably better off. But this is kind of the national landscape, including ECNL, Girls Academy, MLS Next. Navigating these leagues as a person who does this for a living is difficult. Someone who does this as a parent and is trying to figure this whole thing out is impossible. So we'll try to kind of go over the positives and negatives of what's involved in each of these. Okay, so here's a calendar, a quick calendar, just some important dates coming up. This has club breaks, kind of what to expect for the season, just a rough overall outline of this. We can send this stuff out, and what we're including this year just with our teams. So club breaks, June 20th to July 6th, December 15th through January 5th. U8 through U12 are practices 2 times a week year-round, and U13 to U19, some of the year is 2 times a week, some of it is 3 times a week, just based on field availability. End of the school year, 2 times a week seems plenty. And then also our non-high school age players. If you're high school age but you don't play high school or you don't want to play high school, we still will have a team for you to train over the winter. All of our teams, we include our tournaments. So these are our tournament weekends, the Boys and Girls Cup. We try to get every single team possible in it. Sometimes it's like it doesn't work out because there's a team too high of a level or too low of a level, so they can't play in the tournament, and we try to find you something else. This year, our U9 through U12 teams are going to also, in their fees, get to go in the Solano Surf Playdate. It's at Octo in March. And then our U9 through U12 and our U13 through U19 second teams, instead of giving everyone money, we're going to assign them certain tournaments. So we get a discount, we have to all to go together. So this will be a Halloween event. So we're hoping to have like 20 teams at the same Halloween event. The little kids, obviously, they're there to wear costumes and do the fun kick or treat, and then the older teams will be there more to compete. So instead of everyone trying to find rogue tournaments and everyone just being on their own, now you kind of get to be at some events with your club. And we can just, as we're going through this, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. I don't mind going through this. Okay, I'm hoping this. Okay, perfect. So for ECNL RL, I just wanted to show this real quick. It's not going to show the best. Basically, this is from NorCal, and what it shows is For our U13 through U19 team, it's club-based competition. So basically, our U13 through U19 girls will play back to back to back. Maybe Folsom Surf will be here, and we'll host all 6 of their girls' teams. And then maybe our boys will be traveling to Valley Surf. I'm just using surf clubs as an example. And we'll play 6 games away. So we'll travel together. So we'll either be home or away together. And if you see how the dates work, most of the time, so the first couple dates is boys and girls, same date. The remainder of the fall, boys are Saturday, girls are Sunday. So that's sanctioned by NorCal. We're going to try to make it so girls play later in the day on Sundays, and youngers will probably play a little earlier. But we have to cater to coaches that coach multiple teams. And that was part of how we assign coaches. So if a coach coaches 2 teams and they coach 1 boys and 1 girls team, they're going to be Saturday and Sunday, 1 game each day. If they coach 2 boys teams, they can go back to back on the same day, same location. So that's kind of some of the reasons we put certain coaches in certain spots, if that makes sense. Okay, so if you haven't seen our coaching slate, if you missed out, because this slide took me a really long time to learn how to make. So this is our coaching staff up to the date. Obviously, this is teams we're thinking will form. We won't really know until tryouts and kids show up. There's still, I think, about 30% of our club hasn't signed up for tryouts yet. Most of those we know are coming back. They just haven't gone through the process. Usually the oldest age groups are the laziest. They kind of show up, and especially the boys, and they say, I thought I signed up, and they show up, so it makes it hard to plan. But this is where we're at right now. There's a couple TBDs. We have some coaches we've been talking to. But coaches know they might have to pivot if the 2016 girls second team doesn't happen, but we had a third 2015 girls team. That's just kind of how it is, and we don't really know. So club soccer is an imperfect science because we don't know, even though we have 550 kids already signed up for tryouts, which is a lot for right now, we could end up with 700 and 300 might not show up, or they might only be coming here for a first team. So it makes it really hard to plan. But we're doing the best we can. We're excited about our coaching staff. We have 3 new coaches, but for the most part, the majority of our staff has been here since the beginning, and this is year 5 with Solano Surf. So for our Little Surfers Academy, so this is something we've tried to do over the years. I don't think we've ever got it right. So this will be led by Tony Bassard, one of our most experienced coaches. This is for 2019 and 2018 kids, so they're babies still. But there's a lot of kids now wanting to get involved in competitive soccer earlier. So the plan for these is, instead of sending them out to go to Elk Grove for a game when they're 6 years old, we decided to, in the fall, just play them in our own local rec league. So travel is consistent. It's to Octo. And if we have to play them up a little age group, like we can figure out different ways to get them involved. They'll have a professional coach. They'll train twice a week. Hopefully, they'll do eventually pretty well in our recreational league to make us look good. But if not, then it's Tony's fault. So we hope they'll do well. He's an experienced coach. We're trying to get pools of 10 boys and 10 girls minimum. So we have full rosters to get through this. They'll have over 60 trainings throughout the year. So that's starting in June through the end of May with our breaks in between. In the Winter League, they'll do an indoor league, so probably the Vacaville Indoor League. That's all included in their fees. Their uniform will be included, soccer ball will be included. Instead of trying to nickel and dime people along the way, I think, especially with the littlest ones, we're trying to keep them as close to home. Instead of spending time in the car driving to a game, we'd rather them just be playing and training and staying home. The spring is like the first time they'll actually play outside the club because our spring league wouldn't be of their age or ability by that time. So they'll play 4 play dates. One of them we host, and then it would be 3 away. So those are 3 Sundays where you go play 3 games in a day. So it could be a Santa Rosa day, but it's all 3 games in one Sunday. So it'd be boys would play with the team, girls would play with the team. So it'd be 3 days traveling in the whole year, which I think for this age, just getting them, I know a lot of them are playing other sports. I think this is the best way to do it. For the competitive kit, I just want to throw this in here. This is our new competitive kit. Obviously the blue is the returning jersey. So if you're returning to the club, you're not on the hook to purchase that one because you already have it. Here's the new white jersey. So it says Solano instead of New England on it. And this is the new practice jersey and the new jacket. And we get asked all the time, we don't pick any of this. Surf and the 55 teams underneath it are on the hook for this stuff, and we have no flexibility to change any of this stuff, okay? So this is by them. We can buy extra stuff, but we can't buy less. So we have to show up to games in these. Okay, now we'll get into ECNL RL, which is I think what most people want to kind of find out about it. This is straight from NorCal. We're an ECNL RL for, membership club. On the girls' side, I think there's around 17 now, and boys it's around 16. I'll show you in a map it a little bit, which is a little bit off. So we're guaranteed access in the ECNL RL for U13 to U19, every age group. Our 15s through 19s will be involved in the League Cup, which I'll kind of explain in a little bit. We'll get a reduced league fee. We get free state cup admission. Obviously it's not free, the league's not free, but it comes with it. And then we can use the branding. Some clubs, if you're not an ECNL club and you have one really good age group, which originally that's how 2 of our teams got in, they can still play in this league, but it'll just be like a rogue team or a rogue club. Here's the pathway for a NorCal. So if you kind of see, it starts the lowest level is a Super Rec League. Then you go into bronze, then silver, then gold. Then it goes into State Premier League, NPL. Next up is the ECNL RL League. And then ECNL Boys and Girls is the highest. So obviously that's the goal. That's the highest level of play for girls. Boys is competitive with MLS Next. But that's the goal eventually for the club, which I'll kind of get into. Okay, club promotion relegation. So yes, here's the difficult part is when you get in these clubs, you can get relegated. But because it's a new league, we have 3 years. So if you have a rough first year and you do poorly in one age group, it doesn't matter because you have 3 years to kind of figure it out. After that, they're going to start relegating clubs, or they'll get moved down to NPL, and NPL clubs will be moved back up. So if you see, so for the teams that get in, the individual teams, they can be relegated, but our club, as a club, we cannot for 3 years. Okay, so this is the confusing thing for a lot of people. So there is an ECNL RL NorCal and an ECNL RL Golden State. Anyone here know the difference? Okay, good. We're in the right place then. So ECNL RL NorCal is what we are in. ECNL RL Golden State is what ECNL clubs like Davis, like Mustang, what their B teams or second teams will play in. So those levels of play is way lower than ours, even though they're going to compare the two as a similar league. So ECNL RL NorCal, which we play in, everyone has to put their first team in it. Their highest level players, their highest level teams. ECNL RL Golden State, again, is everyone's second teams. Okay. There is I'll get into this a little bit more, but there is at least one team is guaranteed to go from ECNL RL NorCal into ECNL the following year, which is the goal for every club. Girls Academy, so here's the other one. So people might know Napa just got Girls Academy. So it's another competing organization that goes against ECNL. 2 of those Girls Academy clubs just dropped to go into ECNL RL NorCal this year because that's kind of the pathway everybody's going to try to get into ECNL. MLS. So MLS on the boys' side is still the top. So we acknowledge it. Napa has MLS Next. Sac United has MLS Next. Their Tier 2, which they will sell players on, is lower level than ECNL RL. So just because you're a Napa and you're playing, if you're playing the first team, we're all for if you want to get an MLS Next and you make the team, we think that's a good pathway for some kids if you want to play professionally. If you get in their Tier 2, that's lower level than what we offer. So just be careful when you go through those tryouts. If they offer you Tier 2, but they say, if you do really well, you'll move up. The problem is there's probably 20 kids on the team above you that are not really going to be pushed down. It's just sometimes it's just a carrot to get people in. So ECNL promotion. So this was given to us from NorCal. So 2 clubs to be promoted to 25-26 season, guaranteed. So they're talking about between 3 and 5 possibly from RL to ECNL, but guaranteed 1 boys, 1 girls. So this is the goal for everybody. Promotion will be based on meeting the minimum standards, performance, geography, and alignment. Our alignment is, so geography, we think we're number one for geography-wise. So if you look, this is a lot of the GA and ECNL clubs, and you see that it gets really saturated, especially when you go down to San Jose area or Sacramento area. There's clubs on top of each other. If you go down to San Jose, there's 4 ECNL girls clubs that share the same soccer complex. So I've been out there in Sunnyvale. You go out there and it's MVLA on this field, Bay Area Surf on the next field, and kids are with one club one day and the other club the next day because it's all in the same spot. So they're really looking to grow, and geographically, I think we're in a really good place, primed to get an ECNL spot. To our east, Davis obviously is the closest, and then you look around us, Marin, Santa Rosa, Mustang would be the closest ECNL clubs. It's still a decent drive though. Okay, so was the boys clubs that were in ECNL RL. As you see, there is a Fresno in there. I think they added another one that's far away. Obviously, there is some travel involved. There is 16 games, which means 8 home, 8 away. But that means out of the 8 away, one could be Clovis, but there's also a San Ramon. There's a Revolution, which is in Brentwood. There's a Livermore. So most of the games aren't going to be too far away, but travel will be a lot less than it's been for teams playing in NPL. Here's the girls clubs. This was about 2 months ago, so there's a couple clubs in here that have either changed leagues or joined our league. So it's a little bit different, but you can kind of get a picture of what the travel is going to look like. You see there's a Concord club, a Walnut Creek club, a Berkeley club. So the travel is really not too bad. Okay, League Cup. So this is also something brand new. So our U15 through U19 teams, in addition to ECNL RL, will play in a League Cup. What this means is 3 showcase weekends that they'll play hosted in Davis. So one is in August, one is in November, one is in the spring, and you get to be a part of that just by being an ECNL RL club. Okay, so this is not your club, this is based on your team. So your club could be doing really well, but if you're struggling in the season, this is the time for you to win the lower level state cup, like we get to do nowadays. So, or your club overall is having a bad season, but you have one team that's really good, well, your team can still win the final League Cup. So this is more individually based on how your team's doing. Okay, so these are the college showcase dates. So these are included for our U15 to U19 ECNL RL clubs. NPL clubs no longer have access to this, which has been in the past. So your League Cup games are now going to be seen by college coaches. So in Davis, the college coaches complained about, we go to these showcase games, the teams don't really care, they're about to start high school because there's nothing on the line. If they win 1-0 or tie 1-1, nothing really changes. But now if they're in a League Cup and it's a quarterfinal game and they lose and they're done, it makes it a little more exciting for the college coaches and they have a little more skin in the game. Okay, just to see, so there is a brand new, this is how we do our passes for ECNL RL. So there's no more player passes, okay? Everything is done on your phone. You'll see some of our expenses that we share with you are because a player pass, instead of being, so was it 25 right now or something? What's a regular, something, now it's $61.25 for an ECNL RL player, okay? And that's not what we want. This is from what's being handed down to us. So coaches passes are $10. So this is just more expenses that are being passed along, part of our fees. So when you show up to a game, a coach just has to have their phone. We don't have to worry about passes anymore, and it's all done online. Okay, so this is kind of how it works again, is basically there's about 20 teams. You play 16 match days. They're going to be in different pots. You're going to play all the teams in your pot. You're going to play some cross-regional games. You're going to play some local derby games, which is like the closest team to you. Like if you're familiar with European soccer, like Real Madrid plays Barcelona, it's like a derby, and it's like everybody, or Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, they play each other and the fans are all there because it's close by. So those are the ones you want to win. Okay, so last we're going to go into DJ Kelly, who does our Speed Lab. We just met with him. We just signed up for another year with him. This is an 8-week program that he runs for our U13s and up. about speed and agility training. He has 12 years of experience. He comes on the field with us. He does about 45 minutes for 8 weeks, and the results have been pretty good with the players. He works with all of our teams, first and second teams, and third teams in the age group. His thing is, yes, you can teach speed. I know we always think this kid's fast, this kid's slow, but they can improve. Everyone will get speed testing at the beginning and at the end. So his goal is for everyone to get faster by the end. Okay. So proven results. Here's some of the girls that have done it, especially some soccer players: Alyssa Thompson, Katarina Macario, Jaden Shaw, U.S. Men's National Team, University of Arizona. Here's some of the results. This is from 12 weeks of training. We do 8 weeks of training. So this is like the case study he did about improvement. So we seem to see a difference of our teams on the field, coaches do. So we think it's important. Also helps with injury prevention and minimizing injuries, minimizing overuse throughout the season. The faster they are, the stronger they are. I think it'll help our players continue. So this is how it basically works. We do initial testing by week. By meeting 8, we're doing a final testing, kind of seeing the improvement. People who did it last year, the system wasn't great, and he acknowledges it. He has a new system that's tied in, so they'll be able to go online and see their progress and brag against their friends of who's faster and who has the most improvement. Okay, and here's what everybody wants to see. Okay, here's where the questions come in. So here's our fees. We want to give it out as early as possible. Obviously, things are going up with cost of everything. We try to minimize how much we're going up. Okay, in our market, for example, Davis is about $1,500 more than us. Bay Area Surf, if you want to go down to San Jose, their fees are over $6,000 this year. We're not in that community. You know, I grew up in this area. I know we all work hard for our money. We try to keep it as low as possible. So things do go up. You can see though from 24 to 25, 25 to 26, it's pretty minimal if you look overall at the fees for updates. Questions on this? Yes?
Are uniforms included in that?
They're not, they're additional. Okay, and so for the new kit, I think it's around $400. It's Nike stuff, so it is expensive, but it does include the 2 uniforms plus the practice jersey plus the jacket. And then for returning, it's just the 1 jersey plus the practice jersey, so it's cheaper.
So who will initiate it? Like, how's it facilitated? Because some teams are going to do it, some won't.
The speed training?
Yeah.
So Coach DJ does it for U13 through U19.
Right. I mean, like, setting your team up for it.
So we assign them times.
So everyone's going to go through this?
Yes, everyone does it. It's on the field.
Got it. Okay.
So we do it on the field, and we organize basically for 8 weeks. The first half of your practice will be with the speed coach, and then you'll go with your coach those days. So yeah, we organize it, and we try to do it. It doesn't work out. Some people train before and then do the speed after. Some do the speed before and then do this after. He recommended too that we're going to do the older players earlier in the week, just because we don't want them too close to game day doing too much sprinting, so they're sore and not ready to play. So this way you can push them a little bit more. So the littler ones recover faster. Older ones, it's supposed to be about 72 hours before you play a game, so we adjusted that way. This is the last slide, so feel free to ask questions now.
The opportunity to go from ECNL-RL, is that after the 1 year in ECNL-RL?
Yeah, so they basically, it's kind of based on the year, but mainly it's based on your fall, because I think it opens up October 31st or November 1st is when applications open up, and everybody can put an application based on any of the ECNL-RL teams. So we'll put an application regardless of how we're doing. It'd be nice to be in first place in every age group. Obviously, geography, we have a huge leg up on most of the clubs, but performance is really important too. So obviously, like our 08s are probably less important than our 2013s because our 08s have 1 more year, so it's not as important for the following year. Not that you guys aren't important, but the youngest ones, obviously, they want us to do the best because they're going to be in it for the next 5 years. Yes. Go ahead. On, what was that? On the field? It's getting better. Grass is growing back. The back looks really good. We're getting pretty close. The front is still a work in progress. We're learning as we go, trying to get it better. The goal is for it to be in the fall 100%, but the grass grows when the grass grows. So it's getting better every day. This is why the grass on the front is, we're keeping it long, is for the seed to grow. It just didn't take as much as the grass on the back. So I think the back looks pretty good. It's almost back to where it used to be. Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more about the showcases and the college, exposure that they're going to get? And then does SURF have some guidance for players that they can go to and talk to about what they should do and how to get into certain colleges? Do you have any guidance for that?
Yeah, so we did one last year around this time. I've done it with a couple of the teams, team by team. We found it works better doing it with individual teams, just because then you're talking to seniors or you're talking to 8th graders. It's a completely different conversation. So we have the presentation. It's kind of up to the teams to sign up. So I'll present it. I've coached college for 15 years, so I'm pretty experienced in it and sending players to college and going through the process. These college showcases are, in my opinion, one of the best, just because they're in Davis and it's more local schools. A lot of our kids don't want to go to Oklahoma NAIA little school. They want to go to Sac State, or they want to go to Davis, or they want to go to Chico. And that's mostly the coaches that are here. So these will be opportunities where college coaches will watch you. Obviously the youngest age groups, they're there to kind of check you out, but when you're a junior and senior year, that's when they're more looking to see who wants to play there. So we do guide with the process. We're still young to where surf started. I think our 09s are our first age group to where they've kind of been with surf since they've been young. Our older ones were with Solano United, or they're with North Bay before. So I think our 09 group is going to be our first big classes of boys and girls going into college. We do have some 08s that are talented and want to play in college, but our 07, 06 groups have had around 2 or 3 a year. So I think it's coming though. So there will be guidance. Extra tournaments, it's going to depend on the teams. So Surf Cups, they're $1,700 per team. They're expensive. The travel is expensive. We kind of go case by case. So instead of just assigning everybody the same tournaments, everyone kind of has different goals. But these ones are included. There is some ECNL RL showcase opportunities, but it's going to be more based on if a team wants to do it. They can fundraise or they can charge the team for it, and then they'll do it individually. But we do give guidance of what tournaments to do for the teams that want to do it. I think a lot of our higher level teams have done Surf Cups in San Diego. I mean, we've been to San Diego. A bunch of our teams went to Vegas in March. So there's a lot of opportunities. Also with Surf Nation, there's people that have done NorCal Surf has been a frustrating process. Now it's going to be governed by Surf overall. So they're going to have tryouts to make the NorCal Surf team. If you do well, you can make on the Surf National team, which is just extra opportunities for people to play in. And that could be nationally or could be internationally. Makes sense. Any other questions?
I only have a question about age groups. Is there ever going to be a change in age group where, I just heard.
You had to go there, right? Yeah. We almost got through. So as of now, fall 2026, we've been told there's going to be an age group change, which is going to go from birth year to school year, which would be either a September 1st or an August 1st date, trying to align more, getting more kids to play soccer. Coaches and clubs don't agree with it and don't like it. It's more catering for the top 1% of kids. So a college coach can go watch a team and say, these are all seniors in high school, which isn't the majority of kids. A lot of kids just want to play soccer and they want to play with their friends, and they're happy with their teammates. We're not too worried about it because we've been told that it could change. So as information comes, we can send it out, but we also don't want to scare people if it can change. So when we go down that road, we've already had internal discussions. We might have a cutoff at U14 and say, you teams are just going to stay together and age out because you guys have been together forever. And starting at this age group, we're going to put you in your change age groups that way. if it's more beneficial for the kid. So like, for example, if they could stay 9v9 one more year, we think it's more beneficial for them. They get more touches, they get to play in a smaller field. Instead of playing up an 11v11, when they get the ball less, the field's bigger, so it might not benefit them as much. So we talk about it all the time. We hope stuff changes and it doesn't happen, but we're also kind of prepared and know that it's coming. If that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I do have three that have late birthdays, and so it kind of does affect them. Like right now I have a junior, all her senior teammates are graduating, and so there's only like 6, and it's just kind of like, oh no, what do you do now next year? She's not going to have a team, is it going to be a team or not? And so now I'm going to have to deal with that in the future for my freshmen, oncoming sophomore, and then my 9-year-old. So they all have late birthdays. So to me, it would be easier if they played with, I mean, for my personal.
You should have planned that out better, is the process. The thing is no matter what, there's going to be seniors or juniors that are on a senior team. I mean, it's going to happen, and there's going to be 8th graders that their friends all go to play in high school, and for that winter, they're going to have to train with the age group lower. I mean, it's just, no matter how they do it, even if they change it, there's still going to be kids left out. Like right now, our U19 teams have some juniors on it because they can't play U17, so they're stuck for another year, which is good for our younger coaches because they get extra players. And U19s, you can have a roster of 30 and you'll still end up with 10 on a Saturday of prom or something. So having big rosters at the older age groups is beneficial. Makes sense. Yes?
Are there still discussions around field sites, just given the winter time, lack of lights, and displacement? I know that was about a year ago. You guys were looking at this.
Field lights or
No, like actual sites.
Yes, there is fields. Mike, I don't know if you want to potential field in being built, the Matt Garcia.
Yeah, so the question was about new sites.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah, just I know that that actually there was like open communication about it.
Yeah.
To go look at it, and I think there was a whole voting on it.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes and that whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything new with that?
Yeah, so the city has voted to move forward with the Matt Garcia Park. It's a 50-acre park. It's going to have 6 fields. They'll all be lit. 1 will be artificial turf, 5 will be natural grass. The first 2 fields, I've been told, will be online within 3 years from February. So the clock's ticking.
Wow,
So
pretty cool.
hopefully that's true. We don't have a lot of control over it because we don't have a lot of money, and that's what it's going to take. So they do have some funding to get the thing started. They don't currently have funding to complete the park. So that's something we're going to have ongoing conversations with the city about.
Great.
Anyone knows of any land that's available for cheap? We are very interested and highly motivated. We have 2 kids and not enough space, not enough field space, not enough parking, and so it is something that we've been working with our partners in the city to try to push forward in the county as well. And there's support, but there needs to be money behind it.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a surf site such as you partner with the city on a site that they
It would
choose.
potentially be a similar arrangement to what we have with Octo, where we have preferred access, and in exchange, we take on some maintenance tasks. It's so far out in the future, those conversations haven't begun yet.
Yeah.
Although we are working closely with them on the site plan and how we would build it.
Cool, that's good news.
Even free field space, turf fields are about $1 million to put in, so lights are additional. So the place with the mosquitoes, they stopped looking at it because they wanted to give us a little bit of money to start, which wouldn't even put in a parking lot. And then to start fields construction is, many millions of dollars to even get started. So we're hoping the city comes through. Other cities have turf fields that they use for clubs. We don't. We tried it over the winter. We try to use every high school. The problem is they all play boys and girls soccer, and they have JV teams, they have varsity teams, so it's tough to sneak on whenever we can. So that's why in the winter we're always looking. We're never really there. We have no solution really ever, and it kind of depends on week by week. Sometimes they'll say it's available Tuesday at 8 p.m. and we'll try to jump on it, but it's not like a specific like here's our time, because we would take and we would pay for anything we can get. But turf is at a premium in this area. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. We'll hang out here. You can feel free to ask questions. I'm Zach Sullivan, the Director of Coaching. Mike Johnson is our Executive Director, so if you have like things you're mad about or you want to complain, he's used to it, so he's used to, feel free to ask him. But we'll be hanging around for a little bit, but if nothing else, we should be sending this video out, right, Mike? And then thanks you guys for coming. Oh yeah.